New at 6:30 tonight, the ride-sharing service Uber has been operating in Columbia since early October. We told you the city was having trouble regulating it because it didn't fit into the existing taxi service ordinance. Well, today, city officials say they've drafted a new ordinance for ride-sharing services that will be presented to the city council. And now Uber is crying foul, disagreeing with specifics in the proposed ordinance. ABC 17's Dan Messinio spoke to city officials and Uber today. And Dan, city officials say they've compromised about as much as they can with Uber.
Marissa, yes, the city says it's been working closely with Uber. City officials say they've been very reasonable with Uber throughout the process. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Uber, it's a phone app. It connects passengers with drivers. The catch is that the drivers use their own vehicles. That's why Uber says traditional taxi service rules shouldn't apply. Uber drivers have been rolling down the streets of Columbia since early October. And for more than a month, the city's been scrambling to draft regulations for the first of its kind service in mid-Missouri.
We will basically have a competitive playing field between those type of companies and our existing traditional taxi cab companies. And that's something that we've been very focused on over the last few weeks.
When Uber first opened up shop in Columbia, the company said it's different from traditional taxi services and shouldn't be regulated like one. But Columbia Taxi Services disagreed. Now, city officials say they've drafted an ordinance which would require Uber to adhere to many of the same regulations that traditional taxi services follow.
Have their drivers come in before they actually go out on the road and start operating to simply apply for a permit. All the driver will have to do basically is show us some evidence that the background check and the vehicle condition check has been performed, that they have a driver's license, that they have insurance.
And that's what Uber has a problem with. The company says it will have a harder time attracting potential employees if the city creates extra hoops for them to jump through. In a statement to ABC 17, Uber says, quote, "We are thrilled to be working with the city to create a smart regulatory framework for ride sharing in Columbia. However, the permitting process that has been proposed does not take the nature of largely part-time rideshare drivers into account and creates an unnecessary barrier to entry." Uber officials told the city that it will oppose the proposed ordinance. The city says if it passes, Uber would have to follow the regulations or not operate in Columbia.
Thank you, Dan. And city officials say the city council will vote on the proposed ordinance in December.